Thank you so much for being here today. I truly appreciate you taking the time to listen, to grow, and to reflect. This is not just a summary of a book. This is an emotional and intellectual journey into the mind of one of the world's most visionary entrepreneurs, Phil Knight, the creator of Nike, and his incredible Memoir Shoe Dog. In this deep exploration, we'll dive into every key lesson, every struggle, every victory, and every realization that shaped not just a global brand, but a philosophy of life itself. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a dreamer searching for purpose, or someone who just loves great stories, this will resonate deeply. Phil Knight begins his journey with what he called his crazy idea. He was just out of college, uncertain about the future, and filled with wanderlust. He wanted to see the world, to do something meaningful, something that mattered. That crazy idea was to import high-quality running shoes from Japan to the United States. What makes this moment special is that he didn't know how to start, didn't have much money, and wasn't sure it would work. Yet he did it anyway. This is the first big lesson of Shoe Dog. Don't wait for permission to chase your dream. The perfect time never comes. You make it perfect by moving forward in faith. As the story unfolds, we see how Phil turns this idea into a small company called Blue Ribbon Sports. He partners with his track coach, Bill Bowerman, who was obsessed with improving running shoes. Bowerman wasn't just a coach. He was a relentless innovator, constantly experimenting, even pouring rubber into his wife's waffle iron to create better soles. This moment captures another timeless lesson. Great innovations often come from obsession, from relentless curiosity, and from not being satisfied with good enough. Phil Knight faced enormous challenges. He had no experience managing a company, dealing with supply chains, or handling money. He struggled to get his shoes imported, often running out of cash and risking everything he had. But he didn't stop. This is where Shoe Dog teaches us one of its most powerful lessons. Persistence is everything. Knight believed that if you just keep going, no matter how hard things get, the act of staying in motion creates momentum. He learned to live with fear, uncertainty, and constant struggle, and that's what separated him from the people who quit. The early days of Nike were chaos. His team was small, often working out of cramped rooms filled with shoe boxes. They weren't polished executives. They were passionate misfits who believed in the dream. Phil called them a band of brothers. They argued, disagreed, and made mistakes, but they were united by one mission: to create something extraordinary. From this emerges another deep insight. Business is not about numbers first. It's about people, trust, and shared purpose. You can teach skills, but you can't teach belief. Phil Knight didn't want to just sell shoes. He wanted to change the way people moved, trained, and thought about sports. He believed that athletes, whether professional or everyday joggers, deserved better equipment. This passion was the foundation of Nike's culture, a blend of competitive drive and creative spirit. And that's why Nike's slogan, "Just do it," resonates even decades later, because it captures the core of Knight's philosophy. Don't overthink. Don't wait for approval. Just do it. As the company grew, the obstacles multiplied. Their relationship with their Japanese supplier became strained. Competitors began copying their products. Banks refused to lend them money. There were lawsuits, betrayals, and moments when Nike nearly collapsed. Yet through it all, Knight never abandoned his belief that adversity was the true test of character. Every setback became a lesson in resilience. He learned that success isn't one big breakthrough. It's 1,000 small recoveries from near failure. Another key lesson from Shoe Dog is that leadership doesn't mean having all the answers. Knight wasn't the loud, commanding type. He was introverted, thoughtful, and often filled with doubt. But he listened deeply, trusted his people, and empowered them to act. True leadership, he discovered, is not about control. It's about creating an environment where others can do their best work. He surrounded himself with people who were better than him in certain areas: finance, design, marketing, and that made the company unstoppable. The creation of the Nike brand was another turning point. The now iconic swoosh logo was designed by a student for just $35. Phil wasn't sure about it at first, but over time, it came to symbolize motion, speed, and victory, everything Nike stood for. This shows us a vital truth. Perfection is born from evolution, not instant brilliance. Sometimes the things you doubt the most end up defining your success. Knight also learned that purpose matters more than profit. Money was necessary to survive, but meaning was what kept him going. He saw Nike as a vehicle to inspire movement, to celebrate human potential. When your work connects to something larger than yourself, it fuels you in ways that money never can. That's why he kept pushing even when exhausted, when the company's future was uncertain, when the dream seemed too big to hold. One of the most emotional aspects of Shoe Dog is Knight's honesty about fear. He admits he was scared often, scared of failing, scared of disappointing others, scared of losing everything. But courage, he says, isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to act despite it. That's a lesson every creator, entrepreneur, or dreamer must internalize. You will feel fear. The key is not to let it make your decisions for you. The journey also teaches the importance of global perspective. Knight's world travels shaped how he viewed opportunity. Seeing Japan's craftsmanship, Europe's artistry, and America's entrepreneurial spirit gave him a sense of how connected the world really is. This global mindset became one of Nike's biggest advantages. It taught him to think beyond borders, beyond comfort zones, and to see the planet as one marketplace of ideas and possibilities. There's also a deep financial lesson in the book. Despite growing sales, Nike was constantly low on cash. Knight reinvested everything back into the company, often leaving himself with almost nothing. He learned that growth without financial discipline can be fatal. Cash flow is the lifeblood of a business, and managing it wisely can mean the difference between survival and collapse. For anyone building something, whether a YouTube channel or a startup, this lesson applies directly. Don't just chase growth, build stability. Phil Knight's journey also highlights that timing matters. He launched his idea at a time when running was becoming popular in America. The culture was shifting, and he was ready to meet that need. This shows that awareness of the world around you, trends, movements, culture, can amplify your success if you act boldly when opportunity appears. But one of the most human lessons from Shoe Dog is about humility. Even after Nike became successful, Knight never portrayed himself as a flawless hero. He admitted mistakes, acknowledged luck, and credited his team. This humility kept him grounded and open to learning. In life and business, ego is the enemy of growth. Stay humble enough to learn, no matter how far you've come. As the memoir reaches its later chapters, Knight reflects on what it all meant. The struggles, the sleepless nights, the near bankruptcies, they weren't just obstacles. They were the essence of the journey. He realized that the process itself, the act of building, experimenting, and enduring, was the real reward. Success, he writes, is fleeting, but the act of pursuing something you believe in with your whole heart, that's what gives life meaning. If there's one idea that stays with you after reading Shoe Dog, it's that belief, true, unshakable belief, can change everything. Belief in yourself, belief in your mission, belief that the world can be moved by what you create. And this belief, once shared by a small group of passionate people, can ignite into a global movement. That's how Nike was born, not in a boardroom, but in the mind of a dreamer who refused to give up. So as you listen to this story, reflect on your own journey. Maybe you have a crazy idea too, something that feels impossible right now. Maybe you're at the beginning, with limited resources and endless uncertainty. That's okay. Every great journey starts that way. Don't wait for the stars to align. Just start. Take the first step. Build your wings as you fall. Phil Knight's story teaches us that the greatest adventure in life isn't comfort, but pursuit. The pursuit of something that lights you up, challenges you, and pushes you to evolve. Whether you're creating a business, an artwork, a movement, or a better version of yourself, Shoe Dog reminds you that the journey matters more than the destination. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. If this story inspired you, if it gave you strength or reminded you of your own crazy idea, then please like this video, share it with your friends, and comment below with your biggest takeaway or the dream you're chasing. Your engagement means the world, and it helps this message reach more dreamers who might just need that spark today. Keep believing, keep creating, and remember, there is no finish line.